Yes, yes. Welcome to its Balloon Party, 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you until 11 a.m. And we welcome you to participate in the program. Jackson, I thought you were going to wear like a little prop today. I thought that was going to be your thing. That's awesome. That's so sick. If you're watching on YouTube, you've just been handsomely rewarded. And I'm going to entice people to go to the 101 ESPN YouTube channel to see the hilarity that is currently ensuing in these 101 studios. And then also, you doing kind of payola with like a company that's not on the books and you're wearing stuff for them?
I didn't even realize it's a buddy.
I did. I noticed it right away.
Here, if someone has some black tape, I'll cover it up.
Might see an HR out. I just saw Rafe walk by from the point, but maybe he's HR and he's going to pull you aside. There he is. He noticed it. See, Rafe, you're gone. You're gone. You're gone. Rafe whacked you. Can we let him stick around to do the little piddles?
You want to come in?
Shooter?
Come on in. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Thank God.
Ladies and gentlemen, from 105.7 The Points, Rich Show.
All right, boys, I got HR's here.
HR is here to terminate piddles. You're fired. Right here on the air, Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Sorry, man. We reviewed some of the footage around the office and a lot of inappropriate behavior.
That doesn't surprise me. What my observation was, Rafe, not only is, and I know as a stand-up, you appreciate prop comedy. Jackson's doing a little bit of that right now. Isn't that just like fifth level humor?
Yes, it drew my comedic ire from the hallway as I drove by. I go, what, has he resorted to prop comedy for the last hour?
That's exactly what
of radio?
That's exactly what's going on. And then I noticed on the hoodie he's wearing, he's got a sponsor who's not on the books. And when he turns to a different camera, the phone number's on there, and I think he's got payola going on. That's what I think, and that's why I think you're here to terminate him.
HR, you got all kinds of HR problems, man. We got inappropriate behavior, lewd comments, all kinds of things we got to talk about.
This is the end. It's been a good run, though. 25 months of Balloon Party.
If there's some black tape, I will tape up like Sam Obasanya.
It's too late, man.
Ted Lasso. I'll tape up the sponsor.
John Kioski sent me in. This is your only opportunity. When you get off the air, you have 15 minutes to sell that client. And if you can get them to come on board.
That is true.
I lost my helmet.
We're going to call them, and in 15 minutes, you have to get them on board, contract signed, or else...
That'll wrap her up.
Here, I'll just take
a wrap on you. Do Spotify Wrapped.
Make sure what I have underneath is good. Oh, yeah, this one's good. All right, yeah, give me a moment.
Rafe, thank you for setting this young man straight.
No problem. I'll be in my office reviewing his file.
There he is. It's Rafe Williams from 105.7 The Point, The Riz Show. The great Rafe Williams. I'm a big fan. I'm a Rafe Lemming, actually, is what I am. Who are you a lemming of, Jackson? Somebody in the NBA, I assume.
Yeah. I'm Matt Rocchio lemming.
Oh, Rocchio's in the league? The association? Where'd you go? Jackson has disappeared.
I'm back.
So you've done prop comedy and magic all in the first 4 minutes of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Balloon Party. We are sponsored by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you. And it is a Friday, which means we have the Little Piddles Friday six-shooter. You can participate 314-399-9646. And that's the text line and, of course, the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. And Jackson, you are flustered like the dickens.
All right, the prop has to come to it. Well, because every time I look down to look at my phone, where of course the Little Piddles Friday six shooter is located, the helmet falls off onto the board, and that could lead to a lot of issues. And it's also cold in here, and now I don't have my hoodie, and so well, that's the price you pay, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you try to see payola by.
I didn't even realize it this morning when I put it on.
Right away. There's no question about it. All right, Jackson, what do we got? Got the Blues losing last night. Day Osher gets himself a hattie. Is that 3 of the last 5 games the Blues have played where somebody gets a hat trick?
Definitely against Kachuk.
Nice. Oh, my God.
And so then with...
Floored here.
Oshie got one... I almost said Ovechkin.
That's, you know what? They would have been the same team. I think people would have gone, okay.
His last names are similar.
Yeah,
both very prolific players.
Right.
It's crazy to me that Alexander Ovechkin still plays hockey.
She's 37 now.
Yeah. I remember when he was here and they were on, weren't they called the kid line?
Yep.
Yeah. Boy, time flies.
He played with Walter.
Oh, geez, did he really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Jeez. Yeah, he's been around.
Yeah, Walter had a good nickname for him. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't endearing, but it was good.
Yeah. And Sochi was what? 10 years ago? 2014 Winter Olympics?
might be.
Yeah, I think that's the case, man.
12 or 14.
Shout out TJ Oshie. Yeah,
Can you name the third person with a hat trick in the last 5 games involving your St. Louis Blues? Game time tomorrow night, 101 ESPN is where you can catch it, Jackson. And the pregame gets underway at 6 p.m., 7 o'clock puck drop. I bought you some time. I did everything I could.
Do they play for the Blues?
Yes.
Jordan Cairo.
Yes. I mean, I'm going to count that as like 2 3/4 correct.
Yeah.
And you had to get a hint, but still.
Yeah. Count it.
Look at this.
Count it.
Peter Puck is back. Yeah, first 3-game losing streak under Drew Bannister. And you know what? It's like I give a book report on Curbside Podcast every morning on Balloon Party. But that's what I listen to following a Blues game, and I'm driving into the station. If it's a non-day, is that good? Well done. Big day for Missouri Journalism School. If it's a non-day.
Wins per game.
If it's a day where the Blues haven't played the night before, also known as a non-day, probably listen to the Holly Randall podcast, being honest with everybody. But I noticed, and maybe I'm wrong. I know Joey Vitale was on with the opening drive, but I noticed they were just a little, I felt frustrated by just like, kind of, come on, let's get going. The energy, the power play, even though it had gotten going. I think Vitale said it's kind of like the same thing we could have said, or it's what Bannister said following the Philadelphia game. You'll notice it sounds a lot of the similarities. So, Jackson, I'll put the action on you.
I like the action.
The Blues now trail a wild card spot by 6 points. I'll give you 2-1 on it to incentivize, because obviously even money when you're trailing 6 points for the second wild card and there's 3 teams in between them, and you know those 6 teams, don't you?
They're hockey teams.
Nice. Calgary, Seattle, and Arizona, am I correct?
Yeah. Arizona, and then 3 other Western Conference teams.
You get 2-1 on your money. The Blues make the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2024, yes or no? 2-1 on your money.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Optimist at heart, but
this is a financial play. I mean, hey, listen, you can endear yourself to the audience. I think the audience might disagree with you, but you're getting 2-1. I mean, that's different than just going yes or no and then just going, okay, I'm in St. Louis, I'm on the Blues station, I'll say yes. You're putting money in here.
No, I get it. I'm way past endearing myself to the audience.
I have no question. What are we wagering? God, but I don't like that. I guess I'd be happy, though. Like, if you bet $50 and I got to pay $100, but the Blues are in the playoffs, that $100's worth it to me.
I'll go 40. I like
so 80. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. 80's what you win.
Yep.
All right.
And we got some on the Texans-Ravens.
That's correct. I need the Ravens to win by more than 9.
Yeah, we got the number at 9.
Okay, fair enough. There it is. We got those wagers, and then we bet on Iggy not being in today, and you won that.
Yep.
I'm starting to this is starting to count. What do I owe you now? 40.
40, and then if the Texans cover,
80.
80, and then if the Blues make the playoffs, then I'll be Venmoing people for topics.
Might be a second-hour balloon party soon. Get involved in the program, 314-399-9646, or you can partake in the conversation in the YouTube chat. It's youtube.com/101 ESPN, and that's the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. It is 1012 in St. Louis. We will take a break. This time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers. We'll come back with the Little Piddles Friday 6-shooter here on 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. Welcome back. Balloon Party 101 ESPN. To McKernan, Jackson, Burkett with you. It's a Friday, January 19th to me and you, Russ. Jackson, that means you have this 6-shooter, and I can't wait to hear what you have. Do you have 6 or 7 questions?
I think 7. Actually,
Whoa, so this is a bonus treat for the audience.
Yeah, and I kind of freestyled one in my head during that break, but I'll wait on that one.
Wow.
And it's going to sound dumb when I ask it.
Rabbit and 8 Mile.
That's right. It's going to sound dumb when I ask it, but I actually think it's a fun conversation. But we'll get to that later.
Okay, well, this is Piddles and the Chud, and you do whatever you think is right.
When you're looking at the Cardinals in 2024, do you think the infusion of new leadership and everything except for manager pretty much will actually help them this upcoming season, or do you think it's all window dressing? From your experience of covering the team in and outside of the clubhouse, do you feel the vibe/atmosphere of the clubhouse has correlation to the team's success?
Wow. Gold star for Marcus.
Good job, Marty.
Do you know what my reference was from?
No. Do you know what my reference is from?
No.
Wow.
That's why when you came over the top, I'm like, hold on a second. I've got Pocket Jacks. I like them, but you're not a guy who 4-bets.
No. You want to exchange?
Fine. Boomerang 1991.
Got it. Primal Fear 1996? 5?
Wow. I've seen that picture. Have you seen Boomerang?
No, I have not.
You got to see that movie.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, back to the question. It's a great question.
Thank you.
And that allows me to tell a little anecdote.
Yes.
Come here, kids. Gather around.
I'm going to take a seat.
The year, 2006. The team, the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals. The time, the last weekend of the season. The task, I was about to appear with Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that excited you.
Well, it's my guy.
Really? I thought Orlowski was your guy.
Well, he's like the North Star. Like, that's who we all strive to be. But Stephen A. is my guy.
And they were doing a thing where they would have, I would go down to Channel 9. You watch Donnybrook, don't you?
My brother loves it.
I do, too.
Yeah.
And so that's where I would do the show from. And I said to my compadre, who owned, at the time, part of Inside STL, celebrating its, how many years now, Jackson? God, almost 20 years in existence. 19 years. And I said to Edmonds, I said, hey, listen, I know we kind of understand, we separate the personal from the professional. And I said, but I'm about to do this hit on ESPN, Stephen A. Smith. And I'd like to be able to give them something other than, well, we sure hope the Cardinals can turn it around because the Cardinals were kind of floundering. And he said, all right, you want to know the truth? Well, yes. And he goes, nobody's getting along. Clicks. I can't wait for the season to be over. This was on the Friday before the final weekend of the regular season, which they scraped into by, I believe, a Scott Spezio key hit. Was that off Francisco Cordero?
That was against Milwaukee, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. I watched that
in St. Louis.
Oh, okay. I watched that in my brother's dorm at the University of Missouri.
Is that right?
I think Lathrop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I think that's where I watched Gretzky give away the puck in the neutral zone. Yzerman, oh no, which we referenced yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, it always goes back to Lathrop.
It always, yeah.
And I thought, oh boy. He said something about they missed Mark Grizzolonic. I remember that because I'm like, geez, I forgot he was on the team. But I guess this Grizzolonic, he was a little pepper pot apparently.
Apparently.
And I remember thinking, I guess these guys are done. A month later, the man is holding up the World Series trophy on the field. So, why do I tell this anecdote? I tell this anecdote because those kinds of things, I believe, are overrated. For our listeners who may be a bit older, you may recall teams from Oakland in the 70s or teams from the Bronx in the 70s, teams from Queens in the 80s, and their scuffles. Mm-hmm. Well, they did just fine.
Yeah.
So I think those things are overrated, and I think it might be the kind of thing you highlight at a fan convention when you've hired older people to pitch for you.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought process in the question is like, they're kind of limited to what they can do based on the money. So, and based on what they got in pitching wise, that's evident. Either way, like, do you think maybe changing up the vibe of the clubhouse is something that they were targeting, or at least bolstering the coaching staff to change it up?
Furthermore, while I couldn't be more amused by Lance Lynn, I was amused by him when he came up.
Yeah.
He used to tell us via the cat, Jimmy the Cat Hayes, that when we were coming down to spring training to do our show, TMA, from right outside the Cardinal clubhouse, and we would always do it at this picnic table. I believe he texted the cat that he had arrived in Jupiter and his first order of business was to light our picnic table up with jet fuel.
So he's a fan.
Absolutely. For a period of time, he was seeing my wife's maid of honor. Mm-hmm. So I got to know him a little bit away from the field. Mm-hmm. Couldn't be a more dry sense of humor, has zero interest in entertaining the clowns such as us who ask him questions following games.
Right.
I don't think, with that all established, that people would go, Lance Lynn shall replace Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright and Albert Pujols' leadership in the clubhouse. And I would think Lance Lynn would be the first one to say, I won't be replacing.
Yeah, right.
So again, I think these would fall under the category of things you say at a fan convention when you've hired older players to pitch for you.
Yeah.
So if others would like to spin that will provide leadership, that is welcome. Maybe they are correct and maybe I am wrong. However, everyone knows I'm not. I hope that doesn't come off wrong.
How could it?
Thank you.
How could it? Yeah. Would you lump Chaim Bloom into that category of like guys like Lance Lynn, Descalzo, or do you think that's like actually a significant move?
I don't. That thing with regard to what John Mozeliak said about him last week seemed like he was downplaying his role.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you paid attention to that. I'm not trying to put you on the spot here like I do when you don't watch Blues games.
Huh. Well, he's not even going to live in St. Louis, right? He's going to still be.
Yeah, and by the way, we haven't talked about this yet. God, if you would have told me we'd be talking winter warm-up on Friday, if we talked about winter warm-up at all, you would have gotten nice odds. But another thing, and I hate this, because I want them to be good. I mean, this Blues season starting to have a trend. We had the last Blues season. We had the last Cardinal season. Battlehawks should be good, I guess. But, God
Dogs.
Almighty. And, of course... But he detailed what Yadier Molina's job responsibility is going to be, and it was a very brief soundbite. It's kind of like, when he has chance and he's in Puerto Rico. But then when they would do the thing with the fans, it was like when Mick Foley would be, and it's great to be in St. Louis. It's like the cheap pop.
Cheap pop, right.
And I get it.
Yeah.
But Yadier Molina is not, going to be real active.
Right.
I bet if somebody approached Yadier Molina and asked him, what he was doing, I don't know if he would mention that he's working for the Cardinals. But and I'm not saying that he's not working for the team. I just don't think he's going to be real active in working for the Cardinals. And I think that's being oversold as well. Why? Because they know they're in a spot. And what is the spot? The spot is they're kind of in a treading water mode. And it might be good enough, though, to win the National League Central. But if this team were in the National League East or the National League West, I don't think many would have that mindset. Do you follow me? Holla if you hear me. Tupac, 91, 92. 91, 93, Nurse?
92. Let's just go with it, right in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle.
I think they can win the Central. Not only that, I think they will win the Central.
Oh, God, here we go with this. When did you decide you were going to come in here and start acting? First off, the Sirianni thing, and now this.
No, I legitimately do think the Cardinals are going to be considerably better than last year.
All right, 91 win total. Over, under.
Go under that, but over 85.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere in between there. Yeah. I just can't imagine guys like Goldie and Arenado performing as poorly, and then guys like Wynn and Walker and Gorman not developing.
Yeah, I understand. The Wynn thing, you would like to think that can't possibly be a repeat.
Right. It was certainly
that would be a monster concern.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. And by the way, I wouldn't bet against him winning the National League Central, but it's the National League Central. I keep going back to that.
Right. But then you look at
what a operate. It's like, the Big 12 is still technically a power, but it's like, it's not like winning the SEC or the Big 10.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, it's the slow de-evolution of baseball turning into the Premier League, where 6-7 teams are going to be like legitimately have a chance to win, and everyone else is kind of battling not to get relegated.
I would agree with you. Like if there was a President's Trophy for baseball, I would agree with you on that. And for whatever reason, my opinion on hating the baseball postseason alienates people. I don't know why. I would think there's so many other things to hate about me.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like this would be like 25th on the list.
Yeah.
And by the way, like you can hate me but still agree with an opinion of mine, can't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's becoming less and less in style.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, I don't like them, so therefore everything they say is drivel, but that's
done,
not
Jackson.
the case.
Nicely done. Wise for 25 years old. But, I mean, you cheer for a team all year long, and then you go best of 3, and then you go Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, we'll see you later. We'll see you in Jupiter.
Yeah. Back-to-back years, so disheartening.
So stupid.
Dodgers and Phillies, we got 3 total games of postseason.
God almighty. You know, in the 6th seed. You play under season, 6th seed. So, anyway, yeah, the Cardinals could absolutely do it.
Yeah.
But let me put it this way. I'll give you 10-1 on the Cardinals having the best record in the National League.
I wouldn't take that if you paid me.
Really? 10-1 is pretty enticing.
It is, but I don't.
God, all you do is throw $20 down and get 200.
I just don't see a world where they would be the best team. Like if they were the second best team in the National League.
But then if I said 10-1 on the Cardinals winning the World Series, and by the way, that's not as good odds as you'd get in Las Vegas. They're 15-1 to win the National League.
Much more inclined to take that deal. Yeah,
and that's the point: is that it's a crapshoot, and it's for the dumbs.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
Yeah.
But it's not the dumbs as in like people. It's just the system. Oh, we can have as many playoff games as possible. Now we'll just have a little tournament and get together in October and November and hope that Minnesota doesn't host a playoff game. That's essentially the business model. And it tilts me because it used to be when your division, it's like, man, you're 4 wins away from playing for the world championship. And now it's, you know, we can't even put a bracket together because there's so many different possibilities. So, yeah, they could win the National League Central, and then you just got to hope that, you know, because they're probably going to be the 3 seed, that they win 2 games against the team that had the 6th best record.
Yeah. Yeah. This might be straw manning. I might be straw manning here.
What are you doing to my game? What are you doing to my game?
And if I straw manning, please feel free to throw the water bottle.
Like the Sirianni thing.
But wouldn't you think in like NBA, NHL, NFL, you're more likely, you're going to have better odds to win the whole thing over winning, like having the best record in the league or even the conference?
I am intrigued by the question, but I don't think I follow it in its entirety.
So we said like the Cardinals would have better odds to win the World Series than they would to be the best team in the National League. Do you think that's not
best
the case?
record?
Best record. Do you think that's not the case in the NBA, NHL, and NFL?
I think it's different by sport, so I can't throw them all into the same pot. The NHL, I think, has the widest variance.
Okay, fair enough.
I'd be happy to look it up. The team with the lowest point total advancing.
Right.
I realize I don't do point totals in the NFL and NBA or
Right.
Major League Baseball. That has to happen way more with the 8 seed beating the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Like, there's no question. I know now you have 7 seeds, but the 7 seed isn't playing the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a super high variance playoff setup.
Right.
But at the same time, you're playing half as many games as you are in baseball.
Yeah, and
Still a lot.
Yeah.
It still irritated me when I was a kid growing up. And it'd be like, oh, the Blues had a great regular season, but the random Maple Leafs who were in the division at the time. Did you know that, Jackson? Can you name the teams in the Norris division?
The Norris. There's division. There's like named after people. Norris. Is that like
That's correct.
Legends and leaders in the Big Ten?
Nope. These are the names of the divisions. They were in the Norris division. Based on the fact that you didn't know it existed, I gather we're going to have a tough time naming the other franchises.
Well, if Toronto is in there, was Detroit also in there?
Yes. Oh, my God. You're only 2 away from one of the most stunning upsets in balloon party history, next to the fact that the show's still on the air.
All right, so we got that. Was Montreal in there?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Ottawa?
Well, I mean, at this point, now we're just naming teams that weren't even around.
They weren't around
now it's gotten away from us.
The capital of Canada didn't have a team back then?
Where's Jamie Rivers?
Yeah, for real. He's Ottawa proud.
I know.
He should have a problem with this.
Well, I mean, maybe he's going to walk down the hallway and throw you up against the wall on this non-Norris division awareness.
What were the other divisions called?
Let's see. We had a Smythe. We had a Prince of Wales. I think it might have been the Prince of Wales Conference. Blues were in the Campbell Conference.
Campbell.
Yeah.
Got it. All right.
Soupy. Adams. Yeah. Patrick.
Okay. Well, it's a different.
North Stars, Blackhawks, Blues, Red Wings, Maple Leafs.
Okay. Blues. Okay. I should have guessed that.
Well, yeah, that's why we were talking about it. And that's why I said I would look at the standings in the Norris division and I'd be like, Blues had a great regular season. Let's go. And then the North Stars would knock them off in the first round. I'd be like, this sucks. And at that time, more than half the teams were in the playoffs. So that became the thing that got attached to the NHL, that everybody gets into the playoffs.
Right.
So I am anti everybody getting into the playoffs. I value the regular season. That's what gets me on my baseball playoff tangent because I see what's going on. Furthermore, these things are going into November now.
Yeah. Yeah. And my point on the baseball thing also leaves out the context that baseball for like 100 years didn't do anything like they're doing right now, where they have some
desperate times.
Yeah.
Your thoughts are welcome. I'm sure plenty are coming in. I can't wait to read them during the break. That Norris division thing.
This is going to sound bad, and this will lead into the break. Where'd the North Stars play? I've never heard of that franchise. Are they a different team now? Clearly, there's no North Stars. I know that.
This is now a monologue. This is now a gentleman having an inner monologue on a 100,000 watt FM station.
Yeah. Did they become the Dallas Stars?
They did.
Yes. That makes sense. Just dropped them north.
I cannot wait to read the texts and the YouTube chat for that matter. It's going to be big. Big, big, big. This is Balloon Party on 101 ESPN.
This is Action Jackson with a SportsCenter update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues lose last night to the Capitals. Final score of 5-2. The Blues will be back in action tomorrow night taking on the Capitals. You can catch that game right here at home of the Blues. Pre-game starts at 6 p.m. and the puck drops at 7. And last night in the NBA, the Timberwolves defeat the Grizzlies 118-103. Anthony Edwards with 28 points. That was another SportsCenter update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Well, Jackson, you're right. They're not happy. Number one, a number of people have texted in fresh off our TJ Oshie hat trick discussion. Walter's nickname for Oshie, Walter Kachuk, that is, was Furnace Face. So we've tended to that piece of business, and that is correct. I can confirm that. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when Walter had a couple of his teeth blown out right at the end of his career,
Brutal.
If I'm not mistaken, that was the responsibility of TJ Oshie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the end, yeah.
Who got the win?
Yeah, exactly. Deus Ex Machina.
Yep.
Every day for 25 months, a balding mid-20-year-old man-child has irritated me. Today is no different. At the end of the day, my friends and I take guesses as to where Jack Assen is really from. Based on his money and minimal hockey knowledge, I'm going to assume he's from Dubai today. Jackson, are you from Dubai?
Wow, for so many reasons. No. And with such quality material like Jack Assen, we should get him on as a third host.
You're looking to bring somebody in?
Yes. Julie Andrews there. No, not really. Not really. I think it can't take away from my shine. I need more of the ball.
I love the Tim and Carrot Top Prop Comedy Magic Hour. But why do soccer leagues put more emphasis on their version? There it is. The prop is back on for those of you watching on the 101 ESPN YouTube channel, Air Alliance team cameras. Put more emphasis on their version of the President's Trophy or top regular season record than playoffs. Odd that we put the emphasis on the ships, but they don't. That is probably an observation that many in the audience don't even know about, but that is correct. Winning the regular season is a bigger deal in the EPL.
Well, it's the only. There is no playoffs.
And it's something that we talked about with Taylor Twellman when he would be on with Pat Noonan. It's talking about, because Cincinnati won the regular season, and he's like, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs, but we already feel like we've got the bigger accomplishment. I'm paraphrasing here, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes total sense.
I'm not anti-World Series, and I'm not anti-NLCS. I am anti the sixth seed, the 2 years has been around in Major League Baseball making the World Series. I guess you could say it's results-oriented, but I didn't like it when it was announced. I don't like best of three. I don't know. A week off is not a positive thing in baseball. Anyway, you have other questions. I've talked about this so much, but your text is wonderful. 314. Thank you. Jackson, what do we have here?
You know what I'm going to do?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to do the freestyle question I have.
Wow. So you're going to pride yourself on your improv. Can't wait to see what you got.
And this is either going to be one of the dumber questions I've ever asked, and it's going to hate is going to be showered upon me.
It's already in. It's already in today.
Or it's going to lead to a fun little theory or a little discussion here.
Okay.
So let's go with 1980. So we'll include, we got 44 years of history here. And I came across this. I don't know why it made me think of this, but I thought of it. Who do you think is the fastest athlete to play in St. Louis in that time frame? The fastest athlete.
Wow. Super random.
Super random. I don't know what spurred me, but I'm curious.
My default automatic is Vince Coleman, but I don't know if that would actually be accurate. Mm-hmm. The Cardinals had a guy, this is super obscure, and I mean super obscure, who was like, I don't know what the deal with him was, but they had to keep him on the roster. In high school, we called that a donor's kid. But in the Cardinals case, it was like some kind of situation in 1996. His name was Miguel Mejia. And I think he appeared in one game, and he just ran through the stop sign in a crucial September game against the Dodgers, and he was so fast it didn't matter. He scored.
That's awesome.
So he's live.
Yeah, the one that I automatically
There's got to be somebody who played for the Rams.
Tavon Austin. That's who I'm thinking of.
Drafted as a running back, or drafted as a wide receiver, turned into a running back.
Run him in the backfield.
Even though he's about my size.
I think he's shorter than you.
God almighty. And probably I guess he probably has some actual muscle on him, so he probably weighs like 175. But either way, that's light for the National Football League. So those would be my plays. You text in 314-399-9646. Who are you thinking? So your Tavon Austin play?
Tavon Austin, hockey's kind of tough because when you're skating.
Oz Hakeem would be live?
Probably.
Tony Horn? He's a kick returner?
Yeah. Cortland Finnegan was really, really fast. Like, really, really fast.
But, I mean, unless he just had a real, issue with catching, then they would have made sure he was on the other side of the ball.
I think that was the
I know he
reason.
enjoyed late hits.
Yeah, Andre Johnson.
But I don't know about that. Let me see what's going on here in this text inbox. Alexander Wright for the Rams. Lonnie Smith. No, he would count. He was 82 Cardinals. I saw him, man. That's my first Cardinal game. Lonnie Smith inside the park home run. And I remember it looked like, because he would run at like an angle, like a 45-degree angle when he was making the turn on bases, Lonnie Smith.
Like his head was way in front of his
he was just flying.
Yeah.
And Vince Coleman kind of had the same thing. Willie McGee kind of had the same thing.
Willie McGee really
I love
fast.
that stuff. A lot of Oz Hakeem plays.
Yeah, I think that could be very much in play.
Huh. I like the question. I mean, certainly there's a lot of Vince Coleman.
Yeah, Tavon was so fast, man.
Well, how often do we really get to see him in space with blocking?
He had a couple. Punt returns, you get to see him make some moves.
I know, but I mean, it wasn't like, it didn't deliver for where it was selected.
Not at all. They did run the coolest trick play I'd ever seen.
Why don't you play the role of Joe Buck here and describe the play to our listening audience?
Sure. There we
go.
It was,
ladies and gentlemen, Jackson Burkett.
It was Stedman Bailey and Tavon Austin both back to return a punt. Yep. Mountaineer proud. What's up, Geno Smith? Nice. And so I can't remember. I think it was the Seahawks, actually. The Seahawks punt it, and Stedman Bailey acts like he's going to go catch the ball, and he's the one doing it. Really, the punt was kicked to Tavon Austin, but all the blockers went towards Stedman Bailey to throw him off the scent. The only person who knew where the punt was going was the punter, and he's like, where are you guys going? Tavon catches it on the other sideline, sprints down, no one's even in 20 yards.
How about that?
And I think Hester and Johnny Knox ran the same play with the Bears a few years earlier, but it was called back for a holding penalty. As Joe Buck would say, no flags on the field. Yeah. But the Tavon Austin, Stedman Bailey one always stood out to me.
Oz Hakeem running down the sideline Monday Night Football, September 2000 against the Denver Broncos. One of my all-time favorite St. Louis Rams memories.
Yeah, my dad and brother talk about that all the time. Like having a conversation, right, with Bruce or Holt.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible.
Wonder what they were saying.
We're best toasted ravioli in St. Louis, and they're like having a...
Favorite fry?
Crinkle cut. Oh, by the way, I saw some engagement farming that I'm going to show you in the break that has to do with French fries.
Well, why don't you share with the audience? I mean, tell me in the break. You've already won me over. I already know you're a prince. But maybe this is a way to win back the people who are disappointed you didn't know about the Norris division.
So someone posted a picture of crinkle cut fries.
Sure, delicious.
Which we all know are delightful. And it was a quote tweet, and they said, when are we going to start having the conversation that crinkle cut fries are the worst of them all? And I was like, this is peak TMA engagement farming.
Was this like a person who has a job in media, or is this just like
no? God, no.
Okay, but how the hell did it even pop up in your feed?
Algorithm.
Really?
They know I'm into fries.
Jackson's into fries, but not the Minnesota North Stars. But did discover that they are now the Dallas Stars. Fun.
Yes.
Fun discovery.
So the Wild were just an expansion team?
Yes.
Nice. It'd be really weird for Minnesota not to have a hockey team.
Sure. And if you have great leadership in your metropolitan area, if you do have a team taken away from you, oftentimes, opposed to just letting lawyers say you slay a dragon, you get a replacement team.
I think you're wrong on that one.
All right, fair enough. Your thoughts, 314-399-9646, or you can enter the YouTube chat and talk it over at Don PP. This is Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. Welcome back. This is Balloon Party, 101 ESPN. It is driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett, 1 hour of midday magic is what critics have been calling it in The Hollywood Reporter. Jackson, you had a nice little topic there with fastest athlete in St. Louis since 1980.
Yeah. I
Activated the text inbox, not with hatred toward you. Let's see, we got a lot of Roy Greens came in. Yep. Trunk candidate, Ty Hill, great first-round pick. Kerry Robinson.
Yeah.
Willie McGee. Yeah, there you go. A lot of Azakeems, too. I was happy to see that.
Yeah.
Fastest athlete in St. Louis since 1980.
I'm submitting Tavon Austin's my pick.
All right. You may be correct.
Yeah.
You can text yours in 314-399-9646. All right, what do you got? It's 10:53. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers. What are you going to do?
NFL divisional round this weekend.
Yeah, should be a Jim Dandy. Some fun matchups. We have the Packers and 49ers. We have the Ravens and Texans. And then back to the NFC we go with the Lions and Buccaneers. And then we'll wrap things up Sunday evening with the Bills hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. And the first time Patrick Mahomes goes on the road for a playoff game.
So we got Niners, Packers. Spread on that, Niners minus 9.5.
Yeah, it was at 10, so it moved a little.
Yeah, and then Chiefs, Bills.
3 was where it was.
Bills minus 2.5.
Okay, moved a little.
So where are you at on both of those games? We
I'll take the 49ers, and I'll take it all day if you're interested.
Wow, all day. I feel like the hype train around the Packers right now is pretty strong.
Well, then you understand my reasoning.
You beat the Cowboys in the nature you beat them on the road like that, a team that hadn't lost at home all season. I think the chickens might come home to roost. I do think the Niners, a well-rested Niners team, is destined to whoop them.
I just think it's going to be a shipping.
Yeah.
So if you love the Packers or you hate me, you can cheer for Green Bay and be ready to go at 10 o'clock on Monday.
Total on that's 50.5. I feel like that's high for a playoff game. But I guess it's nice weather in Santa Clara. So
42-14 is the final, so go over in 49ers if you're interested.
I like that. And then Chiefs-Bills, 2.5. Cold game. Not as cold as what they've dealt with the Steelers, but going to be teens.
If there is a team who can beat off a team that gets really no love and nobody really seems to like or pay attention to, and this has gone on since 2000 when you were a wee lad, it's the Baltimore Ravens, it would be the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
I think they're on a heater. They've won 6 in a row. It started at Arrowhead Stadium. Patrick Mahomes not happy with the famous call that negated the touchdown. The Travis Kelce pass. And I would take the Bills. I don't feel as strongly on that as I do on the 49ers shipping the Packers in a similar manner that the Packers shipped the Cowboys.
Yeah. I would say, like, in a game like this where it's 50-50 kind of for me, kind of a coin flip to go with the home team.
And the Chiefs, of course, are St. Louis's home team.
To some. And we support you for supporting whatever team you'd like to watch.
Team shame.
No, but I will in private. But the Chiefs' defense looks really, really, really good against the Dolphins.
Do we have a bet?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'd have no problem taking the Bills.
All right. We'll do it straight up.
Just in principle.
Let's go straight up. We'll go straight up.
I see so much Chiefs merchandise in St. Louis.
I know, dude. It's
I said to
crazy.
Gabe, the Colonel, Kansas Cityan, and really like into the Kansas City thing.
Yeah.
Still was surprised when I told him that Sporting KC beat City the night before. And I said, if the Royals were to move, would a bunch of Kansas City people start cheering for the Cardinals? I said, no. All right. I still think a lot of it's Mahomes and Kelce. Like if it were,
No way. If it was
take your pick
Alex
of
Smith,
whatever random NFL team you'd want to cite right now. But with that said, I will take the Bills. And what are we betting? I mean, I'm starting to get into, I'm going to have to ask for a loan.
Yeah, we'll go 20 straight up. We'll go 20 straight up.
Fair enough.
20 straight up. I'll take the Chiefs.
Oh, wow. Straight up. What a mark.
No. I mean, it's 2.5. If it's 2.5, how often are teams losing by 1 these days?
All right. Bills are going to win this one.
They win
30-28.
Oh my God. God. There's Nick Bolton. That's why I'm doing it. For Nick Bolton, that's why I'm taking the Chiefs.
All right, I'm doing it for Mitch Morse.
Okay. I like AJ Espinosa too. Edwardsville Tiger. Either way, Nick Bolton and the Chiefs. We're on it, and we're on the Ravens. That one where I'm not doing straight up. I gotta get the Texans -9. And I guess everyone's just accepted that the Lions are going to beat the Buccaneers this weekend.
Which is why the Buccaneers are probably going to win the game.
Yep.
And I hate that.
I know, me too.
Because I really want the Lions to win. And if I didn't really want the Lions to win, I would be betting like real money on the Buccaneers because of this situation.
Yeah.
But I want the Lions to win. Hopefully they won't have the kind of seemingly inevitable.
Yeah.
Like if there is a Missouri Tigers of the NFL, it would be the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
And this would be a perfect setup. Oh my God. They beat the Rams, thrilling. Everybody's fired up. All they got to do is beat the Buccaneers, and then they got a chance to. And who knows? Maybe somehow the Packers in a miraculous way, and that means the Lions would host the NFC Championship game, and then Sunday rolls around and the Buccaneers beat them.
Yep. And we'd have like the weakest NFC Championship ever.
Yeah, we have the NLCS of NFC Championships.
Yeah. Baker, the touchdown maker, is the biggest star in the NFC Championship.
Yeah. Baker
Thumbs
against
down.
Jordan Love.
Yeah, doesn't move the needle.
Yeah.
But Niners versus Lions. That would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun.
I would love to see it. God,
that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that would intrigue me.
Yeah, and then Ravens Chiefs. Now we're talking. Now we have a championship.
Ravens
Sunday.
Bills.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want the Bills. Trust me, if there's I think Buffalo is like low-key one of the most tortured cities in all of sports.
Yeah. Yeah, what if you had the Bills against the Lions?
Oh, my God. Yeah. There would be a great story either way, so count me in.
All right. So, Jackson, the reality, unfortunately, is it's going to be the Ravens and 49ers.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
I mean, if what we saw towards the end of the season continues for these two well-rested teams, both sat their starters in Week 18, if the Ravens keep playing like they were playing towards the end of the year,
I just
no
see
one
a
beating
big
them.
gap.
Yeah. The Ravens on both
I don't
sides
want
of the
that
ball.
to happen. For the record, I don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
But if I had to bet it, that's what I would bet. And it's not just because they're both one seeds. It's just kind of been the way it's been.
Especially if Mark Andrews comes back for the Ravens.
Yeah, he's supposed to be back in the playoffs. All right, Jackson, we got to go. The place, BK and Ferrario are out at Centene. Time for us to go. Jackson and I will be doing QFTA. That's questions from the audience. Probably around 12:45, 1 o'clock on the TMA YouTube channel. I have a sound story coming up at 11:30, and we'll do it right after that. You can send your questions, comments in T. McKernan at InsideSTL.com. Hate mails, welcome too. And we'll do that on YouTube at around 12:45. It's the Tim McKernan Show podcast. Subscribe to that. It's sports, but a bunch of other crap too. Time to go. Bye.